I seriously cannot fathom the fact that it's been 3 years since Animal Crossing New Horizons graced the world with its presence for the first time. I can still picture that day perfectly in my mind because I was just so excited about it. I had waited so long. The whole week leading up to its release, all I could think about was finally having it in my grubby little hands. And I also remember my boss texting me like, you can have the week off because of this coronavirus thing. And then a week off turned into 4 months off and... COVID. We'll never forget you. Now, obviously COVID is god-awful and all that jazz that everyone's been going on about, but hear me out. The quarantine, at least for me, was kind of awesome. Just because I'm a huge introvert and all that I wanted to do was sit and play Animal Crossing nonstop. I was pretty much Cartman in the pandemic special, to be honest. Just living my absolute best life where no one bothered me. I love Animal Crossing with all of my heart, so getting to just sit around and play it all day every day was an actual childhood dream come true. So, with being a huge Animal Crossing fan, comes huge opinions as well. I know. I'm sorry, I can't help having to spread my unsolicited takes all over the internet. And that includes where I fall on the which is the best Animal Crossing game spectrum. Well, the answer may surprise you. Or actually, maybe not. I don't know. Let's just get started with why you're here. Let's rank every mainline Animal Crossing game. So that excludes any of the spin-offs like Amiibo Festival or Pocket Camp. This is purely for full-bred Animal Crossing games. And to start us off is probably an opinion that's gonna piss a lot of people off, but that's totally fine because my least favorite of the games is... Okay, listen. I know for a lot of people this is their holy grail, cannot be touched Animal Crossing game, but for me it's just kind of good. Not amazing, but good. I have absolutely zero disdain towards it, but to me it has definitely aged the worst of them all. It's a DS game, what do you expect? The graphics aren't gonna look awesome, especially nowadays. You need to lower your expectations. Blah blah, I do not care.
I don't care. I do not care.
I was there when the game came out for the DS, and I felt the exact same way then. The game hurts my eyes. It is ugly. Now, obviously the clunky graphics aren't the sole reason why it's ranked 5th on my list. It never managed to draw me in and keep me addicted like all of the other ones did. I mean, sure, I played quite a lot on it, but it's definitely the one I played the least. There were always these little things that would just turn me off, like, why do all the players have to share one little house? I guess it's fine if you're playing the game solo, but in my experience, it only caused drama about how the house should look and la-di-da-di-da. It just seems like an odd thing to downsize when the original game had 4 separate houses for every player. Despite any flaws that lay within the game, it definitely was the first innovation pioneer for the series. It added things like Shampoodle, the cafe, the observatory, online play, the ability to remove your stupid hat, all that good stuff. It opened the door to more free range in your playthrough, but ultimately it wasn't fulfilling in the long run. Honestly, I always just threw my DS to the side and played the GameCube game instead. But I'm sure some people did the exact opposite of me. Okay, I know this is also a bit controversial. This is at the very bottom of most people's lists, but I don't know. It sparkles with me in a way that Wild World didn't. Which is kind of funny when you consider that City Folk is essentially just a deluxe version of the latter with better graphics. And if you disagree with that statement, then you're straight up lying to yourself. They're almost the same game. A core memory of mine would be waking up on Christmas morning just to find that Santa had left me a copy of City Folk. And I pretty much from that moment on did nothing except play it. Looking back, the game is still really fun and I understand my obsession over it. But some things about it just got old way too quickly. Like, the selling point of the game is that you can explore the big city. But then you do that and just, after about the first 2 or 3 trips, it sucks. Like, it sucks to the point where I wonder why they even bothered making it. I don't know. Despite that big issue, it still ranks higher on the leaderboard, simply because it's essentially an improved version of Wild World, like I said. Soundtrack and all. Despite being the most recent entry into the series, this game failed to do a lot of basic things that the games have had forever. With that being said, it makes up for the missing pieces by giving the majority of people what they crave the most. Full customization of your island at the tip of your fingers. Which, yeah, it's really fun for the first little while. For me though, the options for customization became a bit overwhelming after a while. Like, I always felt like I had to use all of these new cool toys that we were given because, well, why would I ignore these new features? Everyone else is using them a crazy amount and making awesome stuff. Shouldn't I too? I have to. But you really don't. But also, if you don't go crazy with customizing your island, you'll quickly find that there's not that much to do otherwise. Even your villagers get pretty boring and bland after a hot minute. Still, despite taking forever to add things to the game and it's still feeling a little lonely, the game is very fun, and I personally was able to entertain myself for months with this game. It feels a little soulless, which none of the other mainline games have ever had that issue. Now this is a really weird one, because unlike all of the other games, I can't really think of anything that I don't like about this one. So with that being said, it should be my favorite, right? Well, yes, but also no. The game does a lot of things perfectly, and I love it so much. But the next game on the list I love even more, technical warts and all. Honestly, what can I say about this game that hasn't been said a million times over and over again, by literally everyone and their mom? Well, for starters, this game was truly the second coming of Animal Jesus for the franchise. It brought a new light on the series that literally changed everything. I distinctly remember in grade 1 during Tribbles, I told everyone that I was feeling the orange Tribble today because I was so freaking excited to go home and play Animal Crossing. And none of them had the slightest clue what I was talking about. Nowadays though, you are the weird one if you have never heard of Animal Crossing. New Leaf did that. This game kept pretty close to what made Animal Crossing so lovable in the first place. But it also added so many new quirks and mechanics that'll stick with the series forever. Like, the idea of giving the player full control of the town by making them the mayor was genius. Whoever came up with that idea deserves a raise stat. This game is probably one of the most special games from my childhood. When I think back to summer all-nighters that I pulled with my sisters, one of our big things was this game. I think we played this one more than we left the basement during the summertime. Now, with that being said, my ranking for this game isn't sullied by nostalgic emotions. It's the sheer fact that there is no other Animal Crossing game like this one. And there probably will never be one. To be honest, I think that's a really good thing. It makes the game even more special. The charm and simplicity that are baked so deep into this game cannot be matched by any pre-existing or future installments to the franchise. In fact, every game in the series just gets more and more complicated with new customization and different options like this and that. Whereas this game, you literally are just vibing. And I think that less is definitely more in this case. I remember wandering around aimlessly for hours just doing my little tasks and never getting bored of it. For example, where is Twiggy's Pokemon Pikachu and why does Peanut always have everyone's stuff? At its core, it's just a fun, easygoing, and relaxing game. A true escape from the mundane lives we live away from our GameCubes in the real world. I could go on and gush about this game endlessly, but honestly, I think that could be a really fun video in itself. I guess we'll just see if I'm too lazy to do it or not, though. Well, there you crazy kids go. Every mainline Animal Crossing game ranked from worst to best. Chiaki edition. Honestly, despite any shortcomings that these games have individually, I think all of them are amazing, and can definitely understand why any of them are anyone's favorite. Not a lot of video game franchises can do that. There's usually one I absolutely despise, and cannot for the life of me understand why people like it. Take The Legend of Zelda, for example. If Majora's Mask is your favorite game out of all of them, then I do not trust you one bit. And I think that might be the single most controversial thing ever said on this channel. If you're still here after I said that, then hi. Thanks. But also let me know your favorite or least favorite Animal Crossing game in the comments below. Or even just yell at me about how I'm stupid and don't deserve to have a brain because of my opinions. That's cool too. Anything helps the algorithm, so, have at me. Because we all know after the whole Raymond black market scheme, Animal Crossing fans are vicious.